Hello, my name is Devin and I'm part of the Start IT group. Today I will be showing you how to build a Raspberry Pi Tor router. I want to say thank you to Thomas of Rayla, North Carolina from Hackaday for the instructions on this project. In this first part I'll talk about the components needed for this project. What you need is Raspberry Pi Model B, B+, or Pi 2B. Only Model B either have like 2 USB ports or just one, and an Ether port. Model A and A+ don't. The Wi-Fi dongle it must have the ability to be an access point. A second one can be used later in a completely wireless environment. I'll explain that later. Raspberry Pi case for protection. 4 GB or larger for an SD card. Model B uses full-size SD cards, while B+ and Pi 2 use micro, so make sure you have the correct one. An SD card reader. This really depends on what you want. I found the Transcend Information USB 3.0 card reader does fine since it reads both micro and full-size SD. A battery pack if you're going completely wireless. A power supply, at least 1 amp for B and B+, 2 for Pi 2. Generally, the wireless cards take up more power, so the more you provide for it, the better it does. An HDMI cable to interact with the Pi, or USB adapter, keyboard, mouse, and monitor. And an Ethernet cable so you're able to use the downloads later. Alright, so what we want to do now is we want to head on over to raspberrypi.org download/Raspbian, and we want to download Raspbian Jessie. Now if you're unfamiliar with burning an image to a disk, I'll be going through that for the installation guide right here. Also, Raspbian Jessie Lite will also work for this, but it's a little, well, the same steps will follow. You could use Noobs and then install Raspbian from here, but that's extra work, so we're not going to bother with that. From here, from the installation guide, you want to go down and select your operating system. For this one, I'll be covering Windows. And it will give you a walkthrough of how to do it. What you want to do first is you want to insert your micro SD card into your SD card reader, put it in the computer, and read which slot is in. Because when you go to download SourceForge project, it will open up this page right here, and you'll download it. Now when you open it, it may show up as an error. It did for me. If not, just go ahead and continue. If it does show the error, just ignore it for now. And when you open it, here, okay, so after you've removed it, got the image on the hard drive, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and hook up the Raspberry Pi to everything to make sure you got it all set up. I'll be going through a bit of a slideshow right here. I wasn't able to have recording software, so I took images of within the Raspberry Pi to show you. Okay, after you boot up the OS, you should see a series of command lines coming up, and then you'll see the desktop here. The default login info for the username is Pi, and the password is Raspbian, if required. After you reach the desktop, click on the computer, or terminal, whichever you want to call it, and then run the following command line, sudo rasi config. It'll take you to this screen here, and then what you want to do is you want to hit expand file systems. A short bit of command lines will pop up, and then it will display this. Right now what will happen is the Raspbian will use the entirety of the SD card, and at this moment it'll only be using them about maybe 1.5 gigabytes, which is the file size of the OS you burn to the SD card. Now if you want to change the password, you can. I recommend it, but you don't have to. For now, under boot options, change this to boot console or console auto login. Under internationalization options, change your local, time zone, and keyboard layout to whatever is appropriate for where you live. Use the spacebar to select and deselect different options and then enter to accept the changes. I'll be going through a bit of a walkthrough in case you don't know how to do this. For change local, click on it and you'll see a screen that will display what areas there are. Make sure you choose, well, if you're here in the United States, EN, US, TF, UTF-8. This is English for the United States. If you're using another language, you might want to look up what your local is on the web. Back under the that's a long word. Internationalization options, click Change Time Zone, pick your country, then pick your region for your time zone. Back under these options again, click Change Keyboard Layout, choose your keyboard, then choose the origin from where it came with along with your language. Still under the options, click Change Wi-Fi Country, and then choose your country. Now, under Advanced Options, you can change your host name to something else if you like, or you can leave it alone. Also, what we need to do now is go under the Advanced Options and make sure you set your memory, or make sure you set it, or go to Split Memory. Set the GPU memory to the lowest setting of 16. We will be doing this since it doesn't involve any graphics, and 16 megabytes is more than enough for our GPU. If you're using a full version of Raspbian, not the light version, this may cause some issues with the desktop if you boot it from there rather than from the command line. Reboot for everything to take effect. This will show a series of command lines and you'll only see the desktop. However, these images I took are from my desktop, so it's more center. If you want to get the desktop back, type in the console start X and it will bring it back up to here. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to plug in an Ethernet cable so the Pi has internet access. From a terminal or command line, run sudo get update, or sudo apt get update, my bad, until it finishes. Then you want to run sudo apt get upgrade to update all of the software to the latest version. Do this before installing the hotspot software since it needs to be a specific version, and an update would break its ability to work correctly. As you can see, it's still doing it. And it should settle right here. The end of the process should display libcn bin, and that should be the end of it. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and set up the Wi-Fi access. Again, make sure your Wi-Fi device is not plugged into your Pi at this moment. Now what we want to do is we want to type the following into the console to download the pifi script. And I'll be putting all of these scripts down in the bottom of the description in case you forget them. The first one will be wget https dash cdn hackaday oi/files/4223180676832 pifi.sh. I'll only be reading this one. I'll just be showing them here on the screen and then I'll put them down in the description for you, like I said. And then you want to press enter and you should see it finish. Now we need to make the pifi.sh executable so you can run it. Do this by typing the following chmod plus x pifi.sh and then press enter. And now you want to type the following script so you can set up your Wi-Fi access point. And then that would be sudo /pifi.sh. And after you typed it in correctly like that, it will show this. And what you want to do is you want to follow all the instructions on screen. The script will reboot your Pi when it's finished. Log back in and safely shut down your Pi and insert your Wi-Fi dongle and power everything back on, you should see a extra Wi-Fi source in your home. At the moment, it's just a normal Wi-Fi source. It's just like your wireless router. The SSD is whatever you named it in the previous steps, and the password will be whatever is specified. If you want to SSH into your Pi, you can do this over an Ethernet IP address that your primary router assigned, or over the new Wi-Fi connection if it's connected through. The address will be 192.168.42.1 over the Wi-Fi. Okay, to add Tor router capability, download the Tor script with this command, as you can see here. Then press enter. Just like before, we need to make this executable, so type chmod plus x tor.sh, well, sh, and then press enter. Next, run the script by typing sudo period slash tor.sh, and then press enter. Follow all the prompts and wait for your Pi to reboot. That's it. Now when you connect to this Wi-Fi source, all of your web traffic will be routed through the Tor, and you should remove the Ethernet cable since it's no longer needed. The second Wi-Fi adapter for that is to hook it up and make it completely wireless. If you're still using the Ethernet cable, then you might want to leave it in. What you want to do is you can verify your network by going to check.torproject.org, and it should look like this if you get it correctly. If you have any questions, please go ahead and post them in the comments below. I hope the router works great for you and you have a great day.